And we are live, guys. Episode 5, Talking Live. I'm Sunit. He's Ryan. It's chilly night. How are you today, Ryan?
I'm good, brother. It feels like a while since we've spoken. It's been at least over a week. We've been busy. Life has got in the way. What have you been up to? I know you've gone back to Nottingham. How does that feel?
Back in not. It feels amazing. To be honest, it feels good to be home. It's been a while since I was home before this. COVID lockdown got in the way. So as soon as this lockdown ended, I had to get back home. I was on the first train back. Now I'm here. The family's happy. I'm happy. I'm feeling good. However, last week was tough for me. I'll be honest with you, Ryan. Last week was tough. That's probably one of the reasons why I think we struggled to record last week, to be honest, because both of us seem to be very busy. Work was stressful for me last week. It's got a lot more chill this week. I'm feeling good. I'm a lot more happier now. But I'll be honest with you, you've always known me as having a nice, healthy, dark hair on my head, right? You've always known me to be full of nice black hair. I'll be honest. On the weekend, I was looking in the mirror, mate, 2 or 3 grays. 2 or 3 big grays. I had to pull them bad boys out. They were massive. I've never seen anything like it. Not on my hair. Stress has to be. That's the only thing I think of. Stress got to me last week. So it's
It's
been tough.
worrying.
It is
It's
what it is.
worrying. The more we sit at these chairs and the more we stare at these laptop screens working, the worse our health gets. Is the answer in climbing the corporate ladder, or is it really working at the grocery store and walking around all day and keeping healthy, keeping
You know,
fit?
you know what? They might have the answer right because all we do is sit in our rooms these days on laptops, just grinding it every day, grinding, and I'm getting stressed. But listen, this is a new week. I'm happy now. I'm a lot happier. I'm in a better place. Work's a lot less stressful. I'm feeling good. How's your week been?
It's been busy. This one more manageable than the last, but I had a busy weekend, and I'll tell you why. Because last podcast I mentioned I was up to something. I mentioned I was up to something. And so this weekend was a busy one for a few reasons. One, I had to get some golf gaming in the morning. Hot that. Two, Elena, my fiance, flew over from America, so I had to pick her up.
Oh
And
wow.
and three, I had to do a bit of filming. Bit of filming with the BBC.
Oh,
Okay, Christmas
that's a
special coming soon.
that is a big name drop. Can we get anything more than that, or is it under wraps at the moment?
All I'll say right now is that I believe the 19th of December on your TV screens. I'm not sure which channel exactly. I think BBC World News, but I should be on there telling a bit of my story, bit of a love story for
Oh
the people
wow.
at home, a Christmas love story. But it's to do with not my latest, but a video on YouTube where I proposed to Elena and just retelling that. So tune in,
Wow.
people. Tune in. I'm
Wow.
interested to see what it's going to look like because the whole experience of it all was a bit out of the blue, but we're getting it done.
Okay. I mean, listen, you said like the last podcast that you were up to something, and I was not expecting that. That is massive news. But we'll hold on off on that until it actually comes out. We can talk more on it. I think if we try and talk now, there's only so much you can say. So let me talk about your other points then,
Okay,
because you mentioned first of all, Elena's here from America. That's been massive news. How's that been?
great.
Yeah,
Christmas cheer.
Christmas. Is she here for Christmas?
She's here for Christmas, for New Year's. She's doing a quarantining 2 weeks now, and then we can live life like human beings again. But that's great. It's Christmas. You want to be around your family. Do you have family traditions?
Oh,
We don't
100%.
really. We don't really at our house that much. We go and see our family. We've just put the lights up around the house. Christmas trees this weekend, and we're late to the party.
Yeah.
Late to the party. Christmas present that haven't yet entered my brain. That's this weekend's task.
Ooh,
But
you're
we're getting
very.
to it.
Yeah, we've got the trees up already. This past weekend we did that. Um, and yeah, we're ready for Christmas. I've already got most of my Christmas presents sorted. Going to do a couple more this weekend. But yeah, we're good. We're good for Christmas. The second thing I want to talk to you about, what you just said there, was your golf game, because I've seen you on Instagram. I've seen you on Instagram. You've been putting it about, a few videos here and there, letting the people know this is what you do now on weekends. You'll go. And I'm just waiting for the call up, to be honest. When do you want the smoke? Because I'm ready.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
ready. When do you want the smoke?
I was waiting for the judgment. I was wondering, like, in what field are you now placing me in because I'm a golfer? But then, as you just said that, I'm realizing you're moving into the world of accountancy. This corporate lifestyle. You're doing your best to fit in, and this is the next step for you. I understand.
Okay, I'm just going to battle what you just said right then there. This is no. I'm not trying to bring myself up, but your boy had private lessons in golf when I was younger.
Ooh.
I did, yeah. From the age of about, I want to say, 10 to 14, somewhere in between there. Saturday mornings, an hour and a half lessons. That was me.
Jeez.
Nah, to be fair, it's been a while since I've been doing it, so I don't want to beat myself up too much. But
So
I've been playing golf.
So the parents were pushing for a prodigy, and it didn't quite work out.
It didn't quite work out. Listen, they tried their hardest. Bless my dad. He really wanted a young Tiger Woods. It didn't quite happen like that. But I'm still going to smoke you. So let me know when you want this work, because we can go.
And you know what? My favorite thing about all of this is that you've just put that out into the atmosphere for people to hear and people to understand. Because I can guarantee you, everybody, I will be giving you feedback on our competition, and it'll be happening sooner rather than later. I don't waste time when it comes to it.
Oh my God, I just put myself in it. Well, the thing is that, how often have you been going? Let's just talk about that real quick. Is it an every weekend job?
I'd say since the end of the first lockdown, I've been going hard. And I mean, okay. I didn't have lessons as a kid though, so I'm teaching myself.
I might speak to you soon there.
I'm teaching myself. We're getting there. I'm trying to go every week. I went to range last night. I said, let me try and get in a new routine again to range. But I have an unhealthy obsession with training sometimes, and I overdid it in a lot of spaces. And you're talking about grey hairs. My back has been hurt just from playing golf. I have to look at myself in the mirror every time I get home. I'm like, how can this be? I'm quarter of a century. I got my back paining me. Oh. Anyway, we are coming to the end of the year, and we're wrapping things up. And so, in that notion, I think it's a nice segue to talk to probably one of the most talked about things in the past week, taking over your Instagram feed, and that is Spotify Wrapped. Firstly, let me just say the people behind the whole Spotify Wrapped, genius. Genius. Just to collect that information and share it in a way where every single person you're looking at is sharing a part of their lives, firstly, because you're interested to see, what are they listening to? Who's their guilty pleasure? But then secondly, the amount of engagement, everyone's sharing it, everyone's wanting to post it. How Apple Music, or does anyone listen to anything else? I know YouTube trying to get into it. They're dead. People are moving over to Spotify just for this reason. So at the end of the year, they can say, yeah, I listened to Drake for 10 million hours this year.
I mean, at one point, in every Instagram story for mine was Spotify Wrapped. I was clicking through them, and every single one was Spotify Wrapped, and I'm with you, mate. What a genius idea that is, just to get everyone looking at your app. Spotify, well played.
I'm putting it out in the earth right now that Netflix will be the next.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Netflix are doing their Wrapped edition. I don't know what they're going to call it, but you're going to be rewatching Netflix shows very soon because you're like, oh, this is the one that I keep watching when on my Saturday mornings. It's popped up again. But no, I know you. I immediately came to you. I said, Suni, what's on your Wrapped? And do you know the first thing I got? And this is a thing that's going around everybody in the Wrapped community. In the Wrapped community, excuses. Excuses about what they're listening to, why they're listening to this. or whatnot. So can you
Okay.
talk me through? Can you talk me through your rap a little bit, please?
So, first of all, I exposed Ryan on the last podcast, so I think it's only right he exposes me today. This is not an excuse, Ryan. This is the truth, and it's even more embarrassing than making an excuse for my Spotify Wrapped, because I'm gonna have to expose myself as a Spotify scavenger. That is what I am. I'm a Spotify scavenger. I'm a grown ass man, a professional, and I'm still using someone else's Spotify. I'm a scavenger, and I apologize. So therefore, my Wrapped is a bit skewed. However, what I will tell you is what I think it would have been.
Okay.
I'll tell you what I think it would have been. Because I don't. For me, I'm a predictable guy. It's not too difficult to know what I'm about. First of all, Drake is 100% obviously going to be on there, number one. It's no debate. There's no denying. Every year, number one. PND, Party Next Door, 100%. He will be number two.
Ooh. Okay.
I still listen to PND one, his first mixtape, every day. Okay. Then the next three, is it top five that it does? Gives you a top five.
Top
right?
five. Top five artists. Top five songs.
Yeah. Okay. So then the next three, that's where it might get a little bit different depending on the year. So I would hazard a guess that three is J Hus. Because
Okay.
did Big Conspiracy come out this year?
Play by play, I don't think so. I think it came out at the end of last year.
Okay.
But I'm not sure.
But it will affect this year, won't it?
Yeah, of course. It's whenever you've listened to it.
So yeah, so that was number three. Number four is NSG. And I got to shout out my brother on this one, because before, I mean, obviously, everyone has heard of NSG for their commercial tracks, options, and all that. I didn't mind their commercial tracks, the ones that they won, but I was like, okay, they're a hit maker. They don't really make songs like that. And then my brother showed me a couple of their songs, and I was like, oh, I like.
They've got some depth. They've got a bit more depth.
They have, and they came out with an album this year as well, which I like.
For me, they're a bit more than just the music they do. It's the whole vibe they're giving off.
Perfect, 100%. That is what it is. That's what drew me into it. It's not just the music. I'll watch their videos all day. The vibe, you can see the boys, the dancers. They're just cool with it. They're just relaxed. Everything's just chill. So NSG is 4, and then the fifth one will actually shock you, because I feel like we spoke about this artist a few months back, and we both said we don't really mess with him. Okay. However, since that conversation, I mess with him.
Okay.
That is Pop Smoke.
Ooh.
That is Pop Smoke. I was late to the party. I'll be honest, I was very late to the party. But I've started listening over the past 2, 3, maybe 4 months, and he's hard. There's nothing more I can say. He's got bangers. He's got hits.
Let me just say something on that one, right? Because we had that conversation right after Pop Smoke's death. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
I was like, I'd never really heard this guy. Not really listened to him. Don't know what the hype, but it seems to be coming out the woodworks now. Okay. Me like you, the same has happened. He's on my Spotify, and his songs bang.
His songs bang.
I don't know what it is about him, whether these songs were already out there or if for some reason they were just put together after his death. I don't know the backstory well enough. But all I know is his songs have got something about them. Yeah.
I don't know. There's something. Yeah, you're right. There's something about them. They just get your head knocked. You get the stink face comes out when you listen to his music, innit?
Exactly. The first thing you see when you look at him, though, is like you look at him and then you hear his voice, and you're like, these don't match.
Yeah.
And I think that you get put off a bit straight away, and then you forget that and you just start listening to the music, and you bang it on the radio, and he's like, oof.
Yeah.
It just takes you away. Anyway,
hold on, Ryan. Before we come to yours, because I'm kind of cheating, giving you what I believe is my top 5.
Well, I was just about to say we've just done an Apple Music exercise here.
I'm kind of cheating. I'm giving you what I think is my top 5. So what I will do for you and for the people is give you a guilty pleasure. All right? That might expose me. I'm a big Billie Eilish fan.
Ooh,
I'm a
okay.
big Billie Eilish fan. I don't know why.
Pop star, not a rock star.
I'm just saying. She is my guilty pleasure this year. I've been, a few tracks. They touch the soul, man. Little tearjerkers here and there. So there you go. I'll expose myself a little bit and say that's a little guilty pleasure.
Okay, well that's humble of you. That's humble of you. So if we're getting into my raps, surprise. I was surprised by one of the artists. We'll just say that out. Not surprised when I actually think about it, because they're getting play every day pretty much. Or not every day, but they've got play all through the year. But I'm like, that's not the one who I'm thinking supposed to be showing up on this list. But anyway, number one coming in for me, Drake. Now, let me tell you something about Drake and Spotify, and Drake and anything. If you've ever wanted to understand the reason of why Drake seems to be everywhere and always killing it, is because you don't even know you're listening to him. Yeah, he's on every single person, no matter who they are, where they live, what genre of music they think they like. Drake is on their top 5 artists, without a doubt.
It's facts.
Facts. Hitmaker. I mean, I didn't even know what to do with that. I was like, he's there. I was like, okay. Drake, number 1. Now, the next 2, actually, I'm just really looking at it. The next 2 are surprising for me. And it's really more of a story. It tells the story of this year in a sense. And the emotions that were going on. Now, I feel like I'm exposing myself a bit here, but that's just where I've been at. So at number 2 is Dominic Fike.
Okay, I'll be honest with you. Never heard of that guy.
Oh, okay. He's a bit of a pop star. You know, nice, sweet. Yeah. I don't know, indie kind of music. But his last album, I think, was what took it over the edge. That released the day before I traveled to America. And traveling, whether it's driving, flying, commuting, is the best time to listen to music, in my opinion. You get in that, you're feeling yourself, you're writing your own story as you got your headphones on and you're doing it. That album came out, bang, it just hit the right nerve. And some of these songs that get on Spotify, you just like, and then you keep putting them on rotate. So Dominic Fike hit number 2 because that album has been rinsed. Well, a few songs of that album has been rinsed. Number 3. Now, if you could guess this, I'd throw away the golf game for you. I don't know what to say. Have a guess. I won't even say the artist. I say the genre of my number 3 of my 3. Have a guess.
What's the genre? Give me the genre.
No, I'm telling you, you don't guess the artist.
Guess the genre. Oh, you want me to guess
the genre, sir?
So the fact you said I could never guess it, I'm gonna go outside the box, and I'm gonna say something like jazz.
Not jazz. So I would classify this band as indie folk. Okay. And it is the Lumineers in at number 3.
Ooh.
And now let me tell you why these people have made it in. Because at first I was like, why are these guys in here? And then I realized there's not many albums on Spotify that I like. Because you can have your Spotify full albums, or you can just have your like stories. The albums that Lumineers has put out, I think the most recent one was the start of this year, carries on from the story. It's not just individual. The whole thing is a movie. Go on YouTube, go watch it.
Okay.
The story of these 2 albums, they're outrageous, firstly, but it's been a depressing year in a lot of senses. And I really think that music is representative of this year. I must have been sad. I must have been in my emotions this year for that to make it there. But that's life sometimes.
Mate, I'm down with a bit of indie folk. I listen to a lot of Maggie Rogers, and she's very much folk, kind of folk pop-ish. So
did you say Maggie Rogers or Maggie Rogers? I don't know who this.
I said Rogers. I don't know who Rogers is. You made that up. You have made that surname up.
Let's just wait till you re-listen to this. Okay, then back to number 4. we get to who I would think would be there. But this artist again, like Drake, I'm like, have I been listening to him? It's my old boy favorite, Kanye West. I don't think I'm listening to Kanye. I don't think I'm actively listening to the guy. Yet he's made it in at number 4. And that's because I have so many of his songs liked that when I'm filtering through that shuffle, there's bound to be one a day. There's bound to be 2 a day that I'm going to say, yeah, let me sit on you. Let me listen to this.
Yeah, Kanye has to be up there. He has to be, especially for you.
Yeah, for me, 100%. And then at number 5, Burna Boy. He was higher up in the list last year. He's dropped a bit down. His latest album, if I'm going to be honest with you, I thought was rushed. I couldn't believe he had brought an album out so quickly after his first one. But Burna Boy is one of my favorites ever at the moment. the way he's doing it, and the reason I say ever, which is a bit of a big statement, is because his concert comes in at a very, very, very close second to Watch the Throne, the greatest of all time. Now, Watch the Throne, hands down, Kanye and Jay-Z for 2 hours, banger after banger after banger. There's nothing that's ever going to come close to that in my life. I've accepted it.
Yeah, that's too. The standard is too high that they set when we went to see them. It was crazy when they came up on the platforms.
I've accepted that, but went to see Burna Boy in January or December of last year. One of the greatest concerts of my life. 2 hours of African Giant is piece by piece. One of the best. He calls it Afrofusion. Albums from an African artist period. Yeah. So Burna Boy made up there. But let me ask you, while I'm keeping it on talking about Burna Boy, have you listened to Wizkid's album recently?
I've not listened to his album. Before I actually answer that, recently, I'll be honest with you, I've been slacking on music. And the reason why I've been slacking on music is you alluded to it earlier. For me, I listen to music on my travels, on my commutes to work, on the train, whatever, when I'm walking about, going from one place to the other, headphones in, world out. I can't do that anymore. And I'm realizing actually how much I rely on those moments to get my music in. So I've been slacking on music. So to answer your question, no, I haven't listened to Wizkid, but it's on the list. But talk to me about it.
So I'm going to ask you a first point there, because exactly, the way I usually listen to music last year or before lockdown was my commute to work, cycling on my bike 9 miles. That means I'm having all different kinds of energy. I need some more upbeat energy. I need to tell a story. I need to be rapping as I'm cycling down the road. That's why Skepta must have been, I think Skepta might have been number 1 last year, because he had just released his can't remember what's called, Bullet from a Gun. That's one of the songs. I don't know if it is the album, but that's the change. So now I'm just listening to music before I go to bed. And Lumineers pops up at number 3.
That's actually an interesting point, actually, because I bet that was the same across the board with people. There must have been one artist in there that was just mad random because just of the year we've had. It's a different kind of year, so it means different kind of music we'll be listening to, which is a very interesting point.
Yeah. So going back to Wizkid released a new album recently. Has a few bangers, I'd say. My brother came in hot. He goes, he said, have you listened to Wizkid? This album challenges African Giant. I said, whoa. Whoa. You know how I don't like these big statements.
Take a step back, please.
Listen to it. Few of the songs are good and does have a nice vibe throughout. I wouldn't give it on the level of African Giant. I don't think it's got there yet. But it's a very solid album, especially as you get more into the summer months. You start to enjoy yourself a little bit more. You start to dance. It's a dancing album. It's one you can't really do restricted. And so maybe in the way we're listening to music right now in our homes all the time, and you're not actually commuting or doing it, because I'm a sing out loud person, especially when I'm on the street. Like that comes from the paper nowadays. I'll be blasting at 6 a.m. But that's that.
Okay, yeah. Well, listen, I'll be listening to Wizkid. I'll be listening to him. definitely.
So moving on. Recently, there's been a lot of talk, one, about Grammy nominations, the whole situation with the Weeknd. Last night was the MOBOs. All these nomination award ceremonies, probably in the last 10 to 15 years, if we're being honest, have changed.
Yeah.
And the importance of award ceremonies has changed. There's no more Kanye West, Taylor Swift incidents happening. It doesn't seem like there's a weight on it, because every time that there's an award that someone doesn't agree with, social media is in the background saying he shouldn't have got it. I'm giving you the other award, because there's that collective voice somewhere else. Maybe they've changed. So first, let's get into the Grammys and just your take on award ceremonies and the weight they hold.
Well, first of all, I'm just looking through the nominations this year for the Grammys, right? It's a pretty bleak year in terms of nominations. There's nothing that's really standing out to me. I mean, you got DaBaby, you got a bit of Drake as well. But in terms of Grammys overall and their weight they hold, I was thinking about this, and at first I was thinking they shouldn't really hold any weight, should they? Because who the hell comes up with the nominations? Who the hell gives out these awards? Who are these people to me and you? Why should their opinion hold weight when we're having a discussion about a person's legacy? Because that's our opinion. So how can we use someone else's opinion to fuel our opinion? But then I actually thought about it, and I actually thought, but the issue is though, right? Whenever you want to have a debate, or you want to talk about someone's legacy or the impact they had, or if they're the greatest artist, whatever, there's only so much where opinion can take you in a debate. Eventually, you're gonna need some stats, some facts to back it up. That is just the way it works with debates. Like, I'm not a fan of, like, a lot of people go a bit too far and just go pure stats and facts, and obviously that's pushing it a bit too far. You have to have some opinion, but there's got to be a balance. I can't just spit at you my thoughts for 20 minutes on an artist. It's not gonna, for you, you're gonna be like, okay, and what? It's just your opinion. You have to come with some sort of evidence. And that's where I feel like these awards do kind of hold weight when we're having those discussions. Like, as much as you don't want them to, you need something tangible to weigh up an artist. And the question is, should we give Grammys the most weight? Because obviously they clearly do get the most weight. I think even for artists, that's the one they want, isn't it? They want the Grammy, right? But why? Just because of history, tradition? Should Grammy hold the most weight? I don't believe it should, but I do believe awards should hold weight when we're having discussions about a person's legacy or a person's an artist's greatness, and we're comparing them to others, and we're trying to work out who's greater, who's had the better legacy, who's had the better career. I feel like you have to have some tangible evidence to back it up.
No, that's a great point. When I start to think about the way you just put it then, because I was starting to go towards, maybe they don't. Maybe, as you said, maybe it's more subjective. And in this day and age, there's so many hits. There's so many pop songs that are the ones that are winning these awards just because they're getting so many streams. They're getting played on TikTok. They're getting, a lot of clout for not the valid reasons. But as you say, maybe when we're coming toward barbershop talk and having these debates, having these conversations about who is the greatest of all time, if we start to talk about Kanye's and Drake's or whatever, Grammys is going to get pulled up.
Well, this is the thing, because obviously Kanye destroys Drake when it comes to Grammys, right? But I think if you look at the total awards, it's a lot closer, because Drake's got a hell of a lot, like Billboard awards, and I think he's got a few Brits as well, whatever. But for me, it's like, okay, I remember a few years back, right, where Drake tried to boycott the Grammys a few years back, because in order, first of all, if you want to win a Grammy or even be nominated for a Grammy, you have to give the Grammys your approval for a song to be nominated in the first place, right? And 1 year, I can't remember, it's a few years back now, but 1 year Drake didn't give any approval for any of his songs. He basically was like, I don't need the Grammys, I don't need that validation, right? But then the next year he put out Hotline Bling and won 2 Grammys, and I'm just thinking, you got to keep the same energy. You can't 1 year pull out your songs, and then the next year, when you think you've got a better chance of winning one, put up Hotline Bling and be like, okay, fine, I'll take a couple. The fact that even Drake, who tries to, I mean, a lot of artists will say this, oh, I don't need the validation. Yes, they do. They need something. We all have egos. We all care about what people think, and we need something tangible to be like, oh, well, look at the Grammys I've won. They need to be able to tell their kids, I'm not just a great artist because of this house that you're in. This is why I'm a great artist. Look at these Grammys that are on the wall. And no matter what they say, no matter how many times they want to preach that they don't care about the validation, they all do. Because they all every year still upload their songs to Grammys and say, please nominate me.
That's a good point. I think nearly every rapper or every artist must go through this phase in which they say, I don't need these. I know I am the greatest rapper. I don't need no one to tell me. Yeah, when they get that award and they get that call up to the first team, then they're like, oh, okay, I'll take this happily. And do you know what? That's why I then respect the people who are willing to just say, I deserve this award. You know, they're not hiding from the fact that they think, oh yeah, it would be great if my mom and dad just thought I was good, and I'm sure everyone loves me. Now I want that gold plate sitting at home that says best rapper of all time. And I think that's what it does, and especially in a game where it's now, say, rap, just picking it out for an example, you're going to be firstly judged just on your qualitative, such as your music and what people think about that on the street. But then you are going to come down to awards, and you're also going to come down to things like money and things like streams.
Yep.
You know, and how you then leave on. There's more and more pieces that are coming to this. So having that award, I don't think it's lost. It's not lost its way is debate, but I would say that it's probably it's spread out more thin. The days of, if I look at the top list of Grammy winners in the rappers, we've got Jay-Z number 1, 22, Kanye number 2 with 21 Grammys, Eminem number 3 with 15, Kendrick 4th with 13, and then Lauryn Hill with 8 Grammys at 5th, right?
Before you carry on, sorry. Yeah. This is actually, say your point, and then I'll come back on that.
So just look at the era of those artists, right? We're going 10 years back now, before when Kanye is winning them, Eminem, Lauryn Hill even a bit longer.
Yeah, Kendrick is the anomaly. Kendrick is the anomaly, though, isn't he?
Yeah, but you see the kind of same space that they're all in, and that means the field now is saturated because of mumble rap. I'm not downgrading mumble rap. I'm not downgrading any type of rap, but the other forms of rap, the different mediums in which it's being played, as I mentioned, TikTok and whatever, and people like the Baby nominated for Grammys.
That is a good point. I feel for me, I fell out of love with the Grammys when Drake didn't win one for One Dance. I could not believe that did not get a Grammy. That was at that point, it smashed the record on the charts for being number 1 for like about 20 weeks, right, during the summer. I was thinking, okay, that's a guaranteed one. When that didn't get that, I was like, what is the criteria? Who's judging this? How can you not give that song of the year? I couldn't believe it. And again, if you look at that list, right, of rappers, Drake has got 4 Grammys. 4. Now, don't get me wrong. Listen, you might not like Drake, you might hate him, but you're telling me he's got 10 less than Kanye, 20 how many less than Jay-Z? Like, come on. That is a ridiculously overpowered spread. And it's like, even if you don't like Drake, you can appreciate that he's much closer than 4 to these guys that you've just mentioned. But that is because Drake isn't really one genre, is he? And that's the issue with Grammys as well. The issue with Grammys as well is that if you're like an artist like Drake, who spreads across pop, he does a bit of UK grime, he does a little bit of Afro beats, a little bit of dancehall, rap. Where do you put him? Where do you put his song? What category do you put his song? And in that category, is he going to win in that category? Because technically, it might not actually be that category. So is he the strongest in that category? And that's where the issue sort of comes, isn't it?
No, that's the point that, as you were saying, that I was going to go and make, because he falls through the cracks. Because he's not on that all-time Grammy rap list, because you'd argue he's not a full rapper. He's not on that all-time pop list because he's not a Michael Jackson. You know, he's, like you say, he moves with the times, and that's one thing that's great about Drake and what keeps him relevant. You know, when English music is taking off or when there's something in, he's the first one to respond to that with a sound that represents that time. And while he's keeping current, he's not keeping loyal. And I think sometimes in these circles of awards, being dedicated to rap, for instance, as a Kendrick Lamar, you know, and his craft is more, you're going to get more recognition. And then the next thing you've just got to bear in mind, like all of this, if it's not about the money, it's about the money, right? This is an award ceremony backed by big music corporations. Like, it's not just Jay-Z, it's not just Kanye, right? You'd like to think it is like just this one rapper at home making some beats, chucking them out on Spotify, and that's that. No, there's huge music labels that are behind these, and they're expecting these, and so it comes with it. It's just like seeing the Oscars, and you see how like Ricky Gervais talks about how these Academy Awards are given, you know, and these companies are, you know, you can kind of feel that who's making the decisions behind this. Oh, well, it's a bunch of people in Hollywood who are kind of influenced by the scene and the people they know. So how can you really put the correct weight on it? How do you really judge what should be won, as you were saying? So it's a really tricky one, and to say, yes, you should have it because you want to have it if you can, because then you can put it in your savings. You say, yes, I'm eating my piece of the pie. But then if you're not getting your piece of your pie, you're like, no, I hate this. So you can't have it both ways. You have to choose which side of the fence you're going to sit on.
For me, it's more of a case of, though, I don't have any issue with holding awards as stock for artist legacy or whatever. That's not my issue. Is the importance we place on Grammys because of the tradition, because of the weight, like you said, probably because of the money as well that goes into the Grammys and the people behind the scenes, the corporations or whatever that you know present the Grammys. Obviously, they basically force themselves as being the biggest award in music. But why? Why is it? But I like your point as well about the streams. It's like that. Hopefully, I think that is because, especially in more recent times, that's obviously become more and more popular, and that's, like you said, it's kind of watering down a little bit these big awards, because now we actually do have other tangible items where we can say, no, hang on a minute though, forget the Grammys, we don't care about that, but let's have a look at actual streams, actual listens, actual plays of a song, which actually technically should be what they're judged on, right? Not an award, you know, presented or decided by whoever, random guy who probably doesn't even like rap. You know what I mean? Behind the scenes.
So let me ask you, because it's interesting. Say we're going into streams, right? There is an award ceremony for that, right? Is it called the Streamies or something?
I think so. Yeah.
So say we're talking about streams, and that is going to take over because it is a quantifiable number in which you can say this person has been listened to the most, therefore they are the best, right? And so why that we may say, you know, you mentioned in there, it's saturating the Grammy field and we're coming away from it. Are we not then moving into a space where how we feel about music and what it actually represents, and the people listening to it have more weight than just the general mass of population who are listening to the songs and probably don't even care about it, who are just picking what Spotify suggests, and taking it.
It's a good point, but the thing is, at the end of the day, music is a difficult topic because you can't really ever judge. It's not like a sport or anything else where there's, you know, you have to win. There is a winner and there's a loser. That's not how it works in music. Do you know what I mean? So it's difficult to really ever. There's not going to be anything that we can say, oh, this is a proven statistic, a proven fact that shows this guy is better than the other guy, or this guy's legacy is bigger than this guy's, or whatever. We'll never get that, right? That's why I always say you can't go fully based on stats. Well, in any argument, you can't go fully based on stats. All I'm saying is, I think that, but in the past, I don't think you can ignore awards. A lot of people try to ignore awards, and I don't think you could ignore them They have to hold some sort of weight. Now, streaming is a better argument, in my opinion. Again, it's not perfect. Like you said, for all the reasons you said, it's not perfect. Obviously, it's got its flaws. You can't use that as your whole argument as to why X is better than X, right? But for me, it's a better means of saying this guy's legacy is stronger than an award like a Grammy. I think if you add all the awards together, the different awards from whatever VMAs, Billboards, all this, as a collective, and compare it, there's weight in the argument. But the issue is we don't do that. The issue is a lot of people just take the Grammys and say, okay, I've got X amount of Grammys, and nobody talks about Billboards, nobody talks about VMAs, nobody talks about Brits really, or even which we're going back to go in a second, MOBOs. How much people really talk about MOBOs?
Well, that's where I'm going to segue, and let's bring it a bit closer to home, right?
Yeah.
Because we talk about Grammys, right, and it's American based, so of course American artists are going to get the most light. So for a UK artist, what if they're seeing all these rappers in America shine the light on Grammy is the top thing, that is the best you can get in terms of awards, right? Should that be a UK artist's ambition? Or in order to do that, do they really have to fit into that mold? Or should they be looking more closely to a MOBOs that is yesterday or the Brits in order to validate themselves on that stage?
100%. But that's the issue. They don't, and we don't. As listeners, I think we've all conformed to this idea that the Grammys is the pinnacle. And it's like the Oscars in movies. You know, it's an American run, heavily corporation backed, that through tradition and through the money, they have they don't even say they're the best. We just have this perception as a people, as a population, that is the pinnacle for artists. The Grammys, right? And even artists, UK artists, again, it goes back to my point about, oh, we don't care about the Grammys, it's a US thing. I bet they do. I bet you these UK artists, if they win a Grammy, I bet you the joy they get from winning a Grammy is bigger than the joy they get from winning the MOBOs. But why? An award's an award. Do you know what I mean? Like they should be treated as a collective. How many awards you can build up over your career? All right, let's see them all and compare them as a collective. But I just don't think we have that mentality. I don't even think artists have that mentality, because they know the perception, the public, the way we talk, barbershop talk. We go to Grammys.
Well, the Champions League's not the same as the FA Cup.
That's a very good point.
so
why is the Grammys the Champions League? Why are who made the Grammys the Champions League?
Because the most money has been flooded in there, and it's the biggest market, right? And so while a UK artist, yes, should be more respect, we should be aiming towards their homegrown awards, winning something outside of your home that is on the biggest market, the biggest stage, it's going to give them something that the majority of their population doesn't even have a chance of touching. So that's like when people like Skepta or Young T and Bugsy with their Don't Rush are breaking into the American market, then you're like, okay, I can go anywhere I want.
Yeah, that's a good point. But you know what? Since you briefly touched on MOBOs, let's give the MOBOs some love. We talked about Grammys enough. Let's give the MOBOs some love for once, okay? Because I don't know about your biggest takeaway, but your biggest takeaway should have been, as a fellow Nottingham boy, Young T and Bugsy winning Song of the Year at the MOBOs. That's massive.
Of course, Young T and Bugsy, as you have to say if you're not. But let me tell you something about this song. Firstly, right? Shout out to them because they destroyed it. But I was in America 3 months this year, and in America they have like lots of different radio stations, but they have this Sirius, which is like internet radio, but it plays it through your car. So that's where if you listen to like Sway in the morning, if you see on YouTube, or 105, like Charlemagne the God, all of them, these are the channels they're on. This song, Don't Rush, was every third play in America. You could not get away from it.
That's mental.
One of the reasons maybe was the Baby collaboration and the remix version, but on its own, it's just a hard song, and to come from Nottingham, that's crazy.
Mate, for Nottingham, this is massive. This is massive for our city. I don't think we've ever had an artist from Nottingham, especially not grime or rap.
No, not grime or rap. I think who the last person would have been Jake Bugg when he broke into in the indie thing, and he kind of stormed the world. But this is the next wave.
Not only did they win a MOBO, right? They won Song of the Year. That is crazy. Now, were there any other takeaways you got for the MOBOs that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I'm going to run through the winners. And I'm not going to run through all of them. I'm just going to pick out a few and hear your opinions and hear what you're thinking, okay? Best male act was Heady One.
I can see that.
I see, for me, this is where sounds kind of differ and change for different people.
Yeah.
For my brother, Heady One, he's up there. We have nearly exactly the same taste in music. For me, it just doesn't kind of click for me. I like some of his songs, but I'm not listening to anything. But I appreciate that he's being best male act, and I can respect that.
I agree. I don't like Heady. Well, I don't want to say I don't like him. He's not. I like a few of his songs. I'm not a massive fan, but I can appreciate that he is. I think he is the number one artist right now. People love him. He's got a massive following. He had a collaboration with Drake. I don't think you can argue. Even if you don't like him, I don't think you can argue that one.
Then the best female act, and she actually swept up in 2 sections, is Mahalia.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, not again. That's one where it's not my sound.
And she also took R&B and soul, so she was kind of sweeping up across different areas. Again, same as Heady One for me.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, we've already touched on Song of the Year. You know, we spoke about that, but Album of the Year, Nines, Crabs in a Bucket.
I don't know if I'm about to say something controversial here, because I know Nines has a massive following. I just don't. He's not for me. He's just not for me, Nines. I'm sorry.
I feel like unfortunately we're too much on the same wavelength. Nines ain't bringing it home for me. But again, respect your work, brother. Congrats. Let's move on. Now, best newcomer. Best newcomer, H. Any opinions on H? Because for me, I think H, I'm a big fan. I think his flow is unique. I love the fact that he's not from London. I love the fact that he's from Manchester. He's representing the North. And he's got a good sound. And his flow is one of the best out there without a doubt.
Yeah, I agree. I like H as well. My only issue is I don't know what that's his first ever YouTube that blew up. That it was just him rapping, wasn't it? Just like bars. I think it was called like spitting a straight bar, something like that. But obviously, I loved him from that. My only issue with H now is he's just gone down the hit route, which is nothing wrong with that. Make your hits, but I want to hear just some bars. Just rap on the track and because he's got good bars. He's got a good flow. Right now, it just seems every song he's making is just for the radio, which again, nothing wrong with that. But when you're a good spitter, you should also make some tracks that are going to just be good bars, which I want to hear. That's my only issue with H, but I do like him.
It's fair, but I would also think that it's not been long since he's in the radio spotlight sphere, and I feel like most new artists, when they first get into that realm, kind of do lean towards making more music like that just to gain their, increase their popularity, and then they kind of circle back around and say, okay, let me go back to roots. But I respect that, because he hasn't even he has gone there. Some people don't ever change. Some people are just themselves the whole way through. The next one, and I think is fit into the conversation we had earlier, is Video of the Year. Video of the Year, Lupita, NSG.
For me, if it wasn't an NSG one, I would have been upset. There's an Arsenal ones it could have been.
It's the vibe. It's the music that when you go around to your friend's house, say you're having a few drinks and you're playing your music through the TV, you're putting an NSG on.
And it's gonna bang. It's one of those, obviously when you're the DJ at any event, any party, there's a few songs where you might have a few songs where you're a bit nervous, palms a bit sweaty, how are people going to react? But there's also a few songs where you just know, guaranteed, people are going to love it. NSG is a guarantee. You play that and you're going to get some head nods of approval in the party.
And the thing is, one thing I've been disappointed about this year is that NSG's album has come out and we can't go out.
Yeah, no.
We can't go out and enjoy it in the environment that it should be. This is one way you should be in the club when the song comes on, you give a look over your shoulder, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden your legs start moving. But no, we're on the same wavelength here. This next one caught me off guard, and I think it speaks a lot about the person. Best grime act. Best grime. JME.
Wow. Okay, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I haven't listened to JME for a while.
When I think about JME, I think about being 14, 15, walking to school with my Walkman and seeing this guy rap in the different ways that was different from the way grime was at the time, and still is. But he's always been a different character. I mean, his brother's Skepta, so he's a rapper himself, so he's already got his family are already a name. He's already a name, but he's always been himself the whole way through. If we're talking about someone like H maybe selling out a little bit to the mainstream, this guy's always been different. If you just follow the way he does, he's big into technology. He's big into doing his cars or in his videos.
He does
BMXing.
He does a lot of YouTube stuff as well for like the YouTube guys like KSI. Like I think he's good friends with him and stuff like that.
Yeah, and so here's this guy. He's always been himself. He's you can tell he's doesn't care about anyone's opinion. He likes what he likes, and he has done grime his way his whole career.
And you have to respect it because he's done it well. Like that's the thing. Like he found his own lane in a period where London grime act was blowing up, so he could have easily followed, but he still managed to find his own lane. And not only that, get a buzz. Because I used to love Jamie back in the day. I used to play him all the time, and he had a massive buzz. Then he had massive following because he was different. It was a different sound. It wasn't your typical London grime MC coming out. And the fact that he's still getting awards, you've got to respect it.
It's crazy.
That is mental.
And so the last two I'm going to pick out, well, three actually, but we have Best International Act and we have Best African Act.
Okay.
So in Best International Act, Burna Boy is the winner. And before we talk about it, Best African Act is Wizkid. So tell me how this one works. We've got two guys, both from Nigeria. One of them is the best international one, Burna Boy, but apparently he's not good enough to be the best African act.
You know what's happened here, Ryan? And you should actually respect this, Ryan. What's happened here is whoever the judges are, whoever the panel is, they looked at the awards and they were like, both Wizkid and Burna Boy deserve an award here. How do we give them both an award? Oh, this is how we do it. So you should respect this because, they said, they both deserve an award. We don't care about the rules. They're both getting an award.
So let me just say in here, because this kind of shows your character. Yeah, you're willing to forget your values. You're willing to say, you know what, everyone's a winner. You have an award. Let's forget about who actually is the best, even though you've been talking this whole time about who's the best and companies not putting money in. No, this is two record labels saying I want an award and I want an award. Right. You better make these separate these categories.
I never said I agree with it. I don't agree with it. I just respect it, all right? Because you know what? They've said they want to give two guys an award, but no, it's definitely an absolute atrocity that's happened. I don't know what's gone on there. We've been talking this whole podcast, the main sort of aspect of it has been about how awards don't stand weight. And this is just proving our point, hasn't it? It's just proving our point about how these awards just don't actually hold that much weight because they do stupid decisions like this.
And then the last one we're going to pick on here. And it's not because maybe for the discipline itself, but I just want to ask the question. Best producer is J5. Okay.
J5. You gotta say it in the song.
Exactly. J5. Now, I don't know who. We don't know who makes the decisions on these awards, right? But these awards, is the best producer being decided on who you remember the most? Who's got the catchiest producer name?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Who's on the most times?
I feel like it is definitely a factor. If you've got a nice little, soundbite at the start of a song that people recognize and remember, people are gonna remember your name. And especially if you're on Jay Huss's tracks. Do you know what I mean? Because that he is so listened to. So, but I do think that is a factor, 100%. The fact that little J5, the judges were vibing to a J Huss track before. That's what happened there, and then they decided it's J. You know what? Though, I think I'm happy that we're ending the podcast with the MOBOs. We discussed the Grammys and we discussed our points there about how hyped that award ceremony is and how the other ones are watered down. I'm glad that we stuck to our British roots, Ryan, and we gave the MOBOs some love. They might have made some risky decisions, some stupid decisions, but they deserve more love. These awards that are just sidelined by the Grammys every year deserve love, and especially Young T and Bugsy deserve some love.
Absolutely, and it's a good way to come around. The charts and the radios are now getting filled with Christmas songs. It's good that we got it in now. I mean, now I'm a big Christmas. I like the Christmas music too. Fairy Tales in New York is my favorite personally, and most English people's favorite. I feel like. But I think we're near the end now. So
we are. It's been another good podcast, Ryan. How you found this one? You enjoyed it?
Enjoyed it as always. Nice to cover music. I feel like it's one that's been waiting to happen. And so I hope you enjoyed that at home too. Yeah.
And on that note, guys, that is the end of podcast 5. Talking Life with Ryan and Saneep. Hope we had a good time. This one was about awards. And we'll see you next time, guys. Peace.
Cheers. Bye.